filling in for Jason Reddick tonight. He's got some back problems. And so I do not see anything given to us for a change in the agenda. So it's open for approval as presented.
I so move.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I think Jason Reddick did that. So second, Jenny?
Oh, second.
All right. That was pretty hard to hear, Jason, by the way. Did you get that, Julie? All right. Any more discussion? All right. I'll go around. Dale Keene.
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
Jason.
Aye.
Jenny.
Aye.
Deborah.
Aye.
Chans.
Aye.
And I as well. So moved. Any information about any public comments you're aware of? Anything to read for the record? No? All right, moving on. And I see Elizabeth. Any comments?
No comments today. Thank you.
All right, I don't see Velma, right? Okay. Tom, you're up for some items here in a row.
All right. First off on my report is the enrollment. Our enrollment, last few board meetings, there was nothing significant to report. However, this board meeting, there is something semi-significant. If you look at your packet, we have a increase of 30 students. Most of the time this year, we see a slight decrease due to students graduating or moving out of our district. This month, I'm happy to report that we've increased our enrollment by 30 students, and we attribute that to our return to in-person instruction. And some of the details of that you can see in your packet. Pretty much across the board, first grade through 12th grade, we see an increase of 2 to 3 students, 5 students, for instance, in 3rd grade. And then in your packet, 4B1, you can see across the district increase, for instance, at Foster School by 6 students, Hawthorne by 6, junior high by 7, high school by 8 students. So that's good. We have some of the students that were being homeschooled during COVID coming back to our school. Do you have any questions about the enrollment? Well, if not, next on my report is an update of the ODE regulations that were put out January 19th. And I'd like to share screen and take you through some of the highlights from ODE. Here we go. So in January, our last board meeting was pre-January 19th, and we were awaiting some information from ODE on the RSSL, and that is the Ready School Safe Learners guidance from ODE. There wasn't a significant impact to our operations. I'll highlight some of the reports from ODE. For instance, on page 13, it talked about, it reinforced that the returning to in-person shifted from mandatory requirements from the matrix to advisory recommendations. This allows schools to make local decisions. We were able to do that in January, and it gives guiding factors to think about in making a decision to return students to in-person hybrid instruction. So the document, the guidance outlines that we should consider COVID-19 conditions on a more localized level. Our readiness, we should consider to meet the public and safety requirements through sections 1 through 3, and we have prepared. Our staff capacity across instructional models, we should consider. We should consider in our decision to return students to in-person instruction, their academic growth and success, students' physical and mental health, as well as disproportionate impacts of COVID-19 in education under various instructional models. And those various models we're all supporting, whether it's CDL, limited instruction, or now hybrid in-person learning. And just to go back to our decision-making last month, it remains the same to bring students back. Our factors in considering the return of students, we were grounded and we are grounded in studies that show schools, when following health and safety protocols, are not the source of COVID spread. And I have a link to the latest articles from the CDC leadership. Our factors for bringing students back, we consider that schools are often a mitigating factor of the spread of COVID. And we've seen that firsthand in Sweet Home, how we can help stop the spread by our screening process or lessen the spread. We're also grounded in students are less likely to get COVID, have fewer severe symptoms, are less likely to spread COVID. We can remain safe, students and staff, when we follow the protocols. We were grounded in our decision-making, the social, emotional, physical, academic, detrimental effects of students not being in school. They've taken an enormous toll on our students and families who we serve. Decisions to return beyond instructional regression. We know from studies, reports, nationally, regionally, students are experiencing isolation, in some cases, depression, trauma, neglect, not to mention students' dreams being dashed or canceled. And we also know when we made our decisions that we will follow all the safety protocols of quarantining, contact tracing, and up to school closures to keep us safe. We also examined that there's many states that have been operating K through 12 under much higher metrics. It also helps that we knew that vaccinations would be on the way. Staff being able to be vaccinated, those who desired vaccinations, and also for now, we're looking at local and county data that shows downward COVID trends. And so if my link works, let's look at the metrics. Click that away. And so here's the new metric model that ODE put out January 19th. Let me see if and it's whoops, excuse me. It's advisory. It's not mandated. So the advisory says we could start schools up K through 3, advisory under 350 case count, in junior high and high schools, 200 and under. And if you can see my screen, Lynn County, we've had under 2 weeks ago, 157 was the case count per 100,000. And then this reporting period of February 6, 166. So that's positive as well. Let me see here. Okay. Last month, we talked about at the board meeting PACE insurance and the House bill with limited liability. We've talked to attorneys, and the counsel from them has been we can access the limited liability House provisions if we follow our protocols. We always have exposure, if you will, to being sued. But we have, if we follow our protocols, the House bill will most likely back us. You know, students, staff wearing masks, following social distancing, screenings, and so forth, cleaning, high expectations for cleaning protocols and whatnot. We talked about last month the vaccinations being on the way. I'm happy to report. I've asked our district nurse approximately how many folks have been vaccinated in our staff, and she reports that the surveys or the information she's getting is about 70% of our staff. COVID testing, that was laid out January 19th in the ODE update. And as of March 1st, if we're operating outside of advisory, we can start COVID testing if necessary for those desiring to be tested and put back into school, student or staff. It is voluntary and it is mandatory that we offer this, and we're set to deliver that on March 1st. Our nurses have been doing a great job working with OHA to make sure we're prepared to do that, offer that. Also like to say elementary, as you know, I went around to the schools, visited every K through 3 class. Opening was strong, fantastic. Protocols were in place. Learning is engaging. So great job to our elementary schools across the staff, from custodians, bus drivers, principals, teachers, teacher support, librarians. Whenever you start listing, I'm afraid I'll miss somebody. Nutrition, food services, fantastic work, everyone. And we'll continue to watch operations K through 3, all of our operations, and make adjustments and adapt where needed. I'm going to attempt to stop share. Come back. That was successful, that journey to the PowerPoint. And so that's my report from the January 19th updates from ODE. And if there's not any questions, or if there are questions, I can answer them. And if not, I'm prepared to turn this over to Principal Riggs and our PE teacher, Josh O'Gorman. Any questions though for me? If not, Principal Riggs, I hear you have a presentation for us.
Thank you, Tom. I'm Barbie Riggs, and I'm the proud principal of Hawthorne Elementary. I'm here tonight with my amazing PE and wellness teacher, Mr. Josh O'Gorman. We had a fabulous first week back with our K-3 students in-person learning. There were so many smiles, not only from the students, but from the staff as well. Josh has so much to share with you tonight, so take it away, Mr. O.
Oh yeah, thank you for letting me represent my school. Once again, my name is Josh O'Gorman, 4th year as a PE teacher in the district. I love my position. I just love being under the Hawthorne umbrella. One thing I really wanted to check in with was returning to school in person for us was coming with anxiety, but more importantly, we wanted to be prepared. We knew there would be that, but if we came prepared, that we would be ready. And I just wanted to piggyback off Tom. I think it was a great way that we went through this first week. Not a lot of hiccups at all. If we did, we made the right, I guess, fixes in place that we needed. But with that, we have a video in place that we thought made us help get the avenue going towards the in-person learning. And I'd like to share that with you right now, as long as everything works out.
Mrs. Temple, as a parent, can you tell us how you feel about your kids returning to in-person instruction here at Hawthorne?
As a parent, I know my kids are so excited to be coming back. They have missed their friends so much. They have missed their teachers. They are excited to be back in the school routine and that structure. And I feel very safe with the protocols and all the rules that I know that are in place. So I know my children will be safe, and I'm happy. They are just so excited to be coming back and ready to be back in that school with everyone they know.
Hello, Hawthorne Hornets. It's Mrs. Riggs here. I just want you to know how happy I am that you're all coming back to school. We've missed you. We're ready for you. We've got all the safety protocols in place. Your teachers are excited. We're ready to see your sweet faces in person. So welcome again. Hawthorne is now where it's supposed to be with our kids back. Our Hawthorne family is complete. Hi, Hawthorne Hornets. I want to share with you our backpack procedure. So when you arrive at school, you're going to take your backpack, hang it up on the hook. Do you notice, I'll help you here, Finley. Do you notice that the backpacks are every other hook? We did this on purpose. You get your own backpack space. And look at these backpacks, guys. They're all unzipped. So we're gonna help Finley out, unzip the backpack, keep it open, because later on in the day, somebody from Hawthorne is gonna take your school lunch and put it in your backpack for you. We're going to give you not only one, but 2 milks. One for your lunch and one for tomorrow's breakfast. Inside your brown paper sack is a lunch for the day and a breakfast for the next day. We're gonna make sure our Hawthorne Hornets are never hungry. We care about you so much.
Hello, Hawthorne Hornets! I'm here to actually explain to you how our drop-off and pickup procedures are going to work. It's actually exactly the same for both, just backwards. So when, parents, you drop off your kids in the morning, you're all going to be dropping off at the east-facing door that our videographer just showed you. You'll be coming in from 35th Street and coming around our parking lot and parking right here in the front. We are only going to allow one car at a time. So if you are the front car nearest to the door, your students will be allowed to come in. This door is actually only for our kinders and first grade students. They are going to be coming in and escorted to their classrooms. If you are a 2nd through 6th grade student, you're actually going to be walking up this amazing wall and to Mr. O'Gorman, who will be at the corner, who will then escort you to your station, which is on the playground.
Once you come in the building, you're gonna stop right here at our hand sanitizing station. You're gonna take some hand sanitizer, rub it on in. If you forgot your mask, no worries. We have plenty of masks to help you with, and you can keep that mask for the full day. Then you'll be escorted to your classroom by cohorts. You learned earlier that another name for a cohort is a group. Each grade level will have their own cohort or their own group.
Procedure, but I wanted to show you exactly where our 3rd through 6th graders are going to be standing once you come out of your cars. So right now we are underneath our covered area on our playground. As you can see, we have cones that have your teachers' names on them. So when you come from Mr. O at the gym, you are going to walk straight over here and line up at your designated spot. We have spots and cones for each student to stand on. As soon as your classroom is ready to walk in, you are going to be walking over this way. And again, you will be coming in your groups or cohorts through this side door and entering into your intermediate hall where you will be walked to your classroom.
Hey, Mr. O here. Just wanted to check in about the playground equipment. We will not be able to use it during in-person learning. We will do our best, myself, Mr. Majors, Ms. Davis, to have brain breaks. And we'll talk more about that when they come out. Do your best, Hornets. We'll try and alleviate that stress the best we can. Stay 6 feet away.
Hello again, Hawthorne families. I'm here to talk about our bathroom protocols. So we have 4 bathrooms here at Hawthorne. One by our kinder rooms, these bathrooms by the front entry, one down by our Palace classroom, and one in our intermediate wing. They are all numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your classroom teachers are assigned to one of those bathrooms. If you are in your classroom and need to use the restroom, you need to let your teachers know that you need to go, and we have a bathroom log, or the teacher will be putting your name and the time that you went to the restroom, and so that way we can keep track of who's using the restroom when, in case we had an issue later on. But so that is our bathroom protocol.
It is your friendly neighborhood PE teacher, Mr. O. Just wanted to check in. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do live or in-person PE when you come back to school. You can see that our gym has been turned into a storage and maybe even a classroom. But please do the Canvas please check the YouTube channel. And on top of everything, just stay active. Do something to make yourself better. Okay? Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you in person.
Hawthorne Hornets, let's talk a little bit about masks. In order for us to come back to Hawthorne and to be safe, everyone is going to be required to wear a mask, just like Mrs. Brown and myself. We want to make sure that we are wearing our masks properly. We can't have our nose showing. We can't have it not covering our face or our chin. We don't want it hanging from our ears. We want to make sure that you know how important it is to wear your mask and wear it safely.
And just like Hawthorne Hornets, how you're going to have to relearn the rules of Hawthorne, we're going to have to learn the rules of the mask. Like Mrs. Briggs said, some of you might not have been wearing masks because you've been quarantining at home. But it is super important that when we're in our building, we are wearing our face coverings appropriately. So be sure you're wearing your mask. And like Mrs. Briggs said before, if you forget, that's okay. We have plenty of masks here at school that we can provide for you. So Ms. Hatchard, what are you looking forward to most about having kids come back in person?
What I'm looking forward to most is seeing their smiling faces close up and getting to work with them more closely and find out what they actually know and what they're really good at so that we can continue to grow and learn together.
So Ms. Russo, what did you have to do to prepare your classroom for kiddos to come back to a safe environment?
Well, I had to move all of my desks. I had to spread them all out. I had to get rid of probably 12, 13 desks. We had to do a lot of measuring. I'm gonna have to get rid of one of my tables over there. We set up our hand sanitizing station, masks. I ordered a few more masks yesterday. We've got masks for kids if they need it. Yeah, we're ready to go.
All right. And that was that.
Thank you, Josh. Great work. Before I move on to outstanding, great video production and going through all the procedures, fantastic. Board directors, before I move to the junior high, are there any questions for the elementary world? Well, thank you, Hawthorne.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, I'd like to introduce, starting next week, we will be introducing junior high and high school students, as well as 4 through 6, to our schools. And I asked our junior high principal, Martin, to give us a presentation to show us how they're preparing. Terry, you've got the screen.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I'll switch over here. Okay, so we are getting ready for our transition to have our students back. The main point that I would like you to take away from my presentation is, there go the lights. There goes the lights, but just how excited we are to have the students return. I won't be reading these word for word, but I'll go through and hit what the high points are. So our school-wide expectations basically come down to, in order for us to be in school, we need to have our mask high and tight, good hygiene, and social distancing. When we're not in session, we do expect students to log on to Canvas to continue their learning. We have been meeting, planning, we did a walkthrough, and we're getting prepared to celebrate the students' return. We have such a beautiful building. It's going to be so nice to have it full of students. When students arrive, we'll be using 2 entries and the same 2 exits. Bus transportation students will come in through our main gym entrance. And non-bus transportation students will enter and exit through the main office. Sanitizer is available both outside in our entry, in the hallways, in the classrooms, all across campus. Our lockers will not be in use. When students are in the hallways, we are expecting them to stay to the right, keep moving, and teachers will meet students at the classroom doors. Water bottles are allowed, and we have 3 filling stations for the water bottles. The drinking fountains themselves are closed down, but we know that hydration is important, so we do have the filling stations. We have signage throughout the halls, on the walls, on the floors, as you see here, and posted on traffic cones. And so our goal is that when students come in, new students, the 7th graders that are new to the building, they'll know where to go and how to move around. And also students new to 7th and 8th grade will as well. We would like for our students to bring fully charged laptops. We want them to social distance and wear their masks. The desks will be sanitized in between classes prior to their departure and going to their next class. So we know it's important that everybody has a clean work area, and so we're getting that taken care of. With the dismissal, students will exit through the same doors they entered. We have the grab and go lunches. There will be no eating on campus. And as you see here, we've got a hand sanitizer. We've got the lunches ready to go. There's another sanitization station outside. And mostly, we're looking forward to a safe and successful spring. Back to you.
Thank you, Terry.
Hey, Tom, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Terry talked about not using the lockers in the gyms. Is the hallway lockers that the students would normally use, they can be not in use during this time as well?
That's correct, sir. They will have their belongings in their backpacks, and they will take that to class with them. The hallways with COVID, they're just not set up to have students, right side by side.
And did we get the construction finished up there?
We are well on our way. We do have a couple of things to finish up, but it's looking really, really good. And I know that they're pushing hard to get just a few of the spaces finished up.
Yeah, Kevin will give a report with facilities, and he'll be focusing on the junior high coming up on the agenda. If there's not any more questions regarding junior high, I'd like to introduce, I believe the high school is going to have our outstanding assistant principal, athletic director, Nate Tyler, give a update presentation on their opening designs. Nate?
All right, thanks, Tom. See if I can do this right. Does that look, are you on? All right. So we put this together to try and help us map out what the day is going to look like for our students, so we can start putting together, just make sure we had everything in place. And I'm sure we're forgetting something that we'll find out Friday when we have seniors here, but just want to give you guys an idea of what our procedures are going to be like. So students are going to arrive pretty much like normal. Seniors will be able to park in the west lot over by the gym and the pool. Juniors and sophomores, the front lot in the back. Bus riders will be dropped off normal. We will have staff positioned around the school on the outside and inside to help direct kids and make sure protocols are being followed. We are requiring the masks just like everybody else. Face shields are not allowed unless there's a medical condition. We got word today that neck gaiters are not allowed either. And we are telling our teachers that there are no mask breaks. What that really means for the high school is that inside the classroom, if a student is struggling and needs to take a break, that's fine, but they'll have to step outside of the classroom. We do not have supervision and ability to make sure that all students are following the protocols prior to the start of school. So school's scheduled to start at 9. So we're going to have the doors unlocked for students at 8:50. Unfortunately, that means a lot of students won't be able to get here super early like they are used to, but that's just part of the COVID protocols. And we're asking that they don't congregate and hang out right outside those doors and keep social distancing. When students do arrive, it's time to go straight to first period. So that's what we're asking. We're asking that if you don't belong to that class, to stay out of that classroom. That way we are not mixing groups. And if there's a reason we have to contact trace, that becomes a lot easier. We are going to have teachers do our visually screen of students as they enter each class. Unfortunately, we had to clear out the commons area, so there are no chairs, no seats, no tables. So socializing in groups is really going to be cut down to a minimum. Really, though, the key there is social distance, wear your mask, and it's going to be fine. We fully expect students to socialize with each other, hang out, and get to know their friends again after being away for a year. When teachers visually screen, this is the normal stuff they're looking for: flushed cheeks, sweaty cough, student reporting fever, chills, the normal COVID symptoms there. Students are supposed to be bringing their Chromebooks with them. We are not going to be taking paper assignments from students. So if they forget, they will have to do a paper assignment or paper notes, but they'll have to transfer that to Canvas at a later time. That's just to minimize the possible transfer of germs. In class, students will be socially distanced. Some classrooms have desks spaced out. Some desks, some rooms we weren't able to get desks out because there's nowhere to store them. And so teachers have marked those and will be communicating with students where to sit. We're asking that students do not move those around and we maintain our social distance. But it is important to remember that an exposure is within 6 feet for 15 minutes or more. And so students are still able to work together for minimum time. And so that's what we were trying to show here. Got the two girls looking at a piece of paper together, but they are social distanced. And so they can work together and they can even pass the 15 minutes when absolutely necessary. Science labs may require that, and that is actually okay. Talking with schools around the state about those social distance protocols. At the end of the period, teachers will walk around and spray desks with a spray bottle, and students will get a paper towel to clean the desks so that we can sanitize the room quickly for other students. A teacher or student will then sanitize the door after all the students have left. We're asking students to sanitize their hands on their way out to kill the germs and reduce the chance of spread. If students do not, we are not going to chase them down and suspend them for that. We do want to be sensitive that if you are washing your hands regularly and using hand sanitizer, that would cause hands to crack, and we want to be a little bit more sensitive to that. Our hallways have been taped off. We got stickers all over the place, and we're really asking students to stay to the right. The picture shows them in a single file line. That is not an expectation. Our expectation is that students will stay on the right-hand side of the hallway so that we are minimizing students bumping into each other and possibly exchanging germs there. Also asking students to keep moving in the hallway. Don't stop. Don't force people to walk around and get into other people's ways. And we are asking our teachers to stand out in the halls, help keep moving the students along, help reduce, those holdups and enforce the protocols. When one class ends, it's a 4-minute passing time, and then the next class starts. So there is no break. It is important for students to be going straight to the next class. Just like Mr. Martin said, there is no lockers. There are no lockers for students this year. That's just because the lockers are in the main hallways where students will not be able to social distance appropriately while getting their materials and other students in the halls. Bathrooms are marked with how many students can be in there at a time. But we do have to be accommodating for our students. We obviously have to meet their needs. They are here for 3.5 hours, so they will need to use the bathroom. But we're trying to get students to do this during passing time and not class time. And so we're going to work with students. We're not going to mark them tardy. But if students are abusing that and showing up late to every class every day, then we'll have to take that on. Outside, it's the same protocols. So just because students are outside doesn't mean that the protocols no longer exist. Students will need to wear their masks at all times. They need to stay on the right-hand side. If they want to stop and talk with their friends, just get out of the way, get out from underneath the breezeway so that they're not blocking traffic. Before the students leave, they can grab their lunch and breakfast for the next day. That remains free for students that are 18, or I guess not even students, but for people 18 and younger. We do have 2 locations on campus for students to pick up their lunches so that they can get out to the bus in a quick manner. We're asking students not to eat on campus at all. We are saying that students can bring beverages in a container that has a screw top. That way it won't spill if it gets knocked over, and a straw. The reason for the straw is so that you can put the straw up behind your mask without having to take your mask down to get a drink, because we do want that mask in place at all times. And obviously with the protocols and things, we are trying to reduce the spread of germs, so there are no sharing of drinks. Unfortunately, we can't have students hanging out on campus, no loitering in the building, can't be hanging out to talk with staff. At the end of the day, students do need to leave in a timely manner. We do have staff assigned to areas to help keep kids moving and ensure that protocols are being followed until students are off campus. And that's just, I'm a science teacher, and so I had to get Erlenmeyer flasks in there. But we do have staff around to help us out with everything. So it's not just on admin or teachers. We have classified, we have certified, we have a lot of people that are going to be out and about ensuring that things are being followed. And that would be it.
Before I move on to former Sweet Home High School student, any questions for the high school? Thank you very much, Nate. Appreciate it. Good work. At this time, I'd like to introduce a former student of Sweet Home High School, teacher, current teacher, coach, Coach Thorpe. Few people know this, but we went to school together, although I was in northern Minnesota and he was here at Sweet Home, class of 1986. Coach Thorpe, I can't quite see you, but I'd like to turn it over to you. Your perspective in the teaching ranks, how you guys really coming together to help out our kids. And while I have you, I'd like to thank you for all that you've done for our students, our student athletes, making great students, great athletes, and better yet, you help contribute to the students being great citizens. So Coach Thorpe, the mic is yours.
Well, thanks a lot, Tom. And yes, class of 86, probably the greatest graduating class in the history of Sweet Home High School. No, Julie, it wasn't 85. No, it wasn't. So, but yeah, I wanted, I first, it makes me very proud to be an alumni of this school and to be a part of this community. And I have to say thank you for what this school has done, and this community and the staffs. This has been incredible to see it firsthand. Once again, you've done it again, Sweet Home. You've stepped up when we've needed it. I mean, the lunches, and since July, coaches have stayed engaged with their kids, doing what they can to whether that's just, hey, let's get together on a Zoom or whatever. They've been providing those opportunities, and the school with the LII, and now we're coming in person. And it was funny, the little kids, the positive responses I read on a Facebook post. One little girl, I don't think I'm supposed to say names, but she said today was the best day of her life, as a kindergartner. And so, that makes, that's that hope. But in looking at what's been going on, and I wanted to share this a while back, but different reasons we couldn't come up here and couldn't say maybe the timing wasn't right. But right now, I gotta say, what we've been doing here is we've been logging, and I'm brought back to a time that I think about, and this was a long time ago when a really long time ago. But during the summer, while I was going to college, I was logging for Melcher Logging, and me and Scott and Robbie Melcher were running our own side, but Mike needed us to come over on the yarder side. And there was this, the guy that was running the yarder side, the hook tender at the time, was named Jim Coda. Now he's the owner of THI, and we had to go to up Lava Lake in some of, it was at the time Behringer and Associates land, now CTC, and in the checkerboard. And this forester, Milt Moran, this young guy who'd been with Behringer and Associates for just a few years. I mean, we came up to this. I came into this situation. I had worked high lead and didn't know what to expect really on the day. And when I get there, I find out that one of the guys didn't show up. And so Milt saying, we need to get this side done so we can set up over here. And we showed up that day with nothing, not knowing what to do, shorthanded. And we were working in a nasty July, 90-some degrees, south slope, big timber, grousey limbs, every choker hung up. And it was just a day that you didn't expect, and you didn't know how to get through it. And then to throw it on top, Milt said we needed to get this done so we could move roads. And so we did. We found ways to get it done shorthanded. We did our job. We went in there, and then when the day was done, the day wasn't done. We turned around. We set up. We changed the yarder, got it changed around, another setting, started a road, did a few turns to have a load ready to go the next day, and then we went home, and we were ready for the next day. And that's exactly what we've been doing here as teachers and administrators and staff. Last March, we went home, and we didn't know, we had hopes that we were going to be back next year. Everything's going to be okay, or in September, and it wasn't. And we came back, and we didn't know what to expect. And yet with that unexpected thing happening, like the stuff that would happen, remember when Zoom wouldn't work and Canvas shut down and the internet, we had an overload problem. And here again, we found a way to make it happen. And we were logging again. We teachers, I have never been so proud to be in this profession, to see what teachers and administrators are doing just so kids can have some normal. And we have been so fortunate. I mean, you guys have seen what Blake Manley's doing. And if you don't know that Sarah McNallis is that lady, I don't know if she has an off button. And I mean, different teachers here, and I just get to see it at the high school, you know, but I am watching people find ways. Even, you know, I have made a fool of myself singing songs and putting them out there for kids to join a stinking Zoom meeting to see what am I going to do next. But the one-on-one setups, teachers helping at night, I have got to tell you, I have never, like I said, you know, man, I have been teaching easy for the last 29 years. I am not a technology guy, and those who know me know that. But I have had Harrison Niels come in here and Emily Marshbanks and walk me through thing after thing to make it better for kids. And what has happened is people are working so hard, and these teachers and these custodians and our administrators. And I'm going to tell you what, you know, you get a lot of negative about school. You get this and that, but you know, to have people work so hard to make something happen for these kids, man, it makes me proud of what I'm doing. And I'm going to tell you, we're logging. We are flat logging. We are changing roads, and we are starting to load for the next day. And if you don't think I haven't had to stay a little late sometimes to make sure things were right in the morning, you know, and I tell you, I am, you know, me personally, I know everybody's in a different place with where they feel about stuff. And that's awesome. That's okay. But you don't know, these kids, I know a lot of them are very excited to come in person, but this 52-year-old is very excited to see a human face in my classroom. And I am grateful for what our little community has once again, you know, I'd love to say this is the first time once again have stepped up and created opportunities for these kids. And I can't wait for athletics to get going too. And I'm hoping for, you know, everything in a safe environment. But you know, I'm inspired for this. And I do know that this has showed me that, you know, I still like logging, you know, but I like it better when we're not on a south slope on a 96-degree day. But I'm inspired by what we're doing, and I'm, you know, I can't wait to start planning a graduation ceremony. So, but thank you, Tom, and our school board, and you know, I'm grateful for the administration I have and the teachers that are, you know, I open my door so I can listen to McNeil down the hallway. The guy is as crazy over a Zoom meeting as he is when he's standing on desk and teaching in his classroom. And you know, like I said, man, this has just been inspiring to see what you know, people in my profession will do to try to make a connection with kids. So thank you guys.
Coach, you're an inspiration. Does anybody have any feedback, questions for Coach Thorpe, Instructor Thorpe?
Class of 89.
Jason can thank class of 89. Yeah, you guys were very average at best.
All right, well, I better get us out of this before this starts going south about, because Chairman Reynolds, Vice Chairman Reynolds might talk about class of 77. Right, Mike?
Long time ago.
All right. Well, thanks, Coach. I really appreciate it. You're an inspiration. I'd like to share screen and see if I can get to a video. It's a 2-minute video, and we just posted on our website of our first week back. Ramil Malabago made this, and hopefully you can see this. It's inspirational.
I got this feeling. high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket. Got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it. Moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it. So don't stop, under the lights when everything goes. Nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move where you already know.
I had a lot of parents reach out to me and tell me that they were really excited to have their kids come back. At first they were kind of a little shy, but I had several students say, you know, at first I thought that I was not excited to go back to school, but now that I'm here, I'm super excited to be here and happy that I get to come back to school.
I think just to have some guidance and some reassurance is what most of them are excited about.
All the staff and teachers working together, I think it was a very well thought out plan, and it went really well.
So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. Yeah. So keep dancing.
All right, I'm back. I think, can you hear me? Yeah, I don't know if I messed up the sound on that or at all. Whoops. I got to move a couple things. So that was our first video. Ramil Malabago made that the first week of in-person learning last week. And what I'd like to go on to now is last part of my report is our graduation rate. And I've got one more share screen. Can you see that? The school board, you set high expectations for us regarding from facilities to our student achievement, our activity programs, our academic programs, and our student outcomes. I'm really proud to report that this year has been our highest, or last year rather, class of 2020, we reported a graduation rate of 88%. The year before that, class of 2019, it was at 85%. And you could see previous, it was lower. So it's a great achievement for us. For a whole K through 12 system, the students, parents of the students, it's great work. You can see the state average rate here is at 83%, so we exceeded the state average. And so, that's one of our chief goals is to have our students walk across the stage, achieve a diploma through our K through 12 system, ready for careers, extra training, college, what have you. And 88% of our students achieved that last year. If we go into the data, we can break it down even more across the state. Students that experience homelessness, just a little bit more than 50% of students experiencing homelessness graduate. In Sweet Home, 2 years ago, class of 2019, we're at 79%, way above the state average. And last year's graduating class was 80%. Students with disabilities, again, it's a demographic that struggles to graduate and walk across that stage. Class of 2019, 65%. Last year, 79%. It's outstanding. Economically disadvantaged, you can see the averages across the state, our prior year's performance, and we're achieving 81%. Class of 2019, last year, 88%. Our CT, our career and technical classes, these are classes, and we've increased our pathways there. We know that students, for many students, what gets them out of bed and into school. We increased those pathways, and again, we've exceeded the state averages there. So I'll go back to share screen. It's fantastic, and in your packet, I won't go into every detail, but you can see some of the contributing factors that have helped along the way, from homework clubs that teachers participate in to we have specialists helping students. And you can see in the packet how we've used Measure 98 funds very effectively, helping sponsor care teams like winter school, summer school, increasing their CTE courses, like I said, taking teachers and staff to professional development, and also doing a much better job of scrutinizing the data every year and comparing it to the state and finding potential errors, and even finding 1 or 2 errors, which we shouldn't have, but it happens between a 4-year experience, students transferring out, understanding where they went and so forth. We're doing a better job there too. So overall, great job with our entire staff. So appreciate that. Wanted to highlight that. Do you have any questions? Well, that concludes my superintendent report.
Thanks, Tom. So make sure no one has questions for Tom yet tonight. I see Velma down there. I didn't notice her earlier. Velma, are you listening? No?
Yeah, I am. I was just trying to find my mute.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you had an opportunity to make any comments if you needed to.
Trying to make my camera. Oh, there it went. I'm just happy that the kids are back. I know that Classified has been working hard, just like Steve Thorpe said earlier. By the way, go Class of '86. I think Steve, pretty much said it. We're just all really excited to have the kids back. I know that there's a good portion of us in my building that have already received our first vaccination shot. I don't know if that was touched on before I got in or not, but I think it started out pretty good. The kids were very excited to be at school.
Excellent. Thanks, Velma.
Thank you.
Okay, on the consent agenda, we got approved minutes from January 11 school board meeting, accept resignation from James Williams, sped teacher at Foster Elementary, effective February 5th. Accept leave of absence from Christy McPeak, counselor at Foster, effective February 1. Approve hire of Braden Zyra, temp grade 3 CDL teacher for the 2021 school year. Approve hire of Natalie Hoffman, temporary grade 1 CDL teacher for 2021 school year, and approve hire of Kristen Morrison, temporary 0.5 grade 2 and 0.5 kinder teacher for the 2021 school year. Open for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Who was the who made the motion?
I did.
Who's I? Can't see you. Is that Dale? Joe?
Yes.
All right. All right. So any more discussion on those? Okay. I'll go down the list here that I wrote down. Dale Keen.
Aye.
Joe Kennedy.
Aye.
Jason Van Eck.
Aye.
Jenny Daniels.
Aye.
Deborah Brown.
Aye.
Chance Keeney.
Aye.
And I myself am an aye. All right, so moved. And moving down to information, it's like Kevin's up for maybe him and for Josh. I think Josh is playing in Hawaii, which is not very nice of him, but Kevin, you're up.
Okay, thank you, Mike. I'll go ahead and begin. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. I will provide the budget update, safety update, and then a facilities update. And I think Tom also has some words of wisdom, so I'll let him conclude. But to go ahead and begin with the budget update, we're now 7 months into our fiscal year. Year-to-date spending has declined by nearly $300,000 from the same time period last year. The four main reasons for that: first, we have not yet paid any coaching stipends. Second, we've spent less on substitutes. Third, we've delayed filling some classified job openings. And fourth, we've spent less on bus fuel. Moving to safety, we had no recordable incidents during the month of January. We were also recognized by our insurance company, received a real nice email from our insurance agent sharing that our workers' compensation experience rating declined from a 1.10 to a 0.79. And when it comes to our experience rating, this is kind of like golf or cross country. The lower the score, the better. The rating period where we received the 0.79 was from July 1st, 2017 to June 30th of 2020. If your experience rating is a 1.0, that's considered the industry average. And so for us now to be at a 0.79, it means we're actually over that 3-year time period doing quite a bit better than most other schools. So with that, our district safety committee would really like to just recognize our staff members for following safe work practices, for identifying and then addressing safety hazards. And it's our goal to see if we can even lower this even further. Moving to facilities, I'm going to first start by going back about 3 years. This is a picture of the west side of the junior high school, just kind of as a reminder of what it looked like. This next picture shows what the junior high school looks like now. We were pretty excited last week. We had some delays on the translucent panels for the original gym, what we're calling now the Douglas Fir Dome, in arriving, but they finally made it to Sweet Home, got installed, and it really, I'm going to go back to what the school looked like before. It's exciting to see it on that west side, which is really the school's backside. But thinking back to when we were discussing the plans with the architect, it was important to us, even from this side, to really try to put our best foot forward. If you're on 18th Avenue or down at the high school or on the Jamboree grounds, this is what you see of the junior high school, and we wanted it to look nice, and we're hopeful that the project delivered on that note. Going inside the Douglas Fir Dome, this is a picture with the new translucent panels in place. And kind of what's neat about this picture, all of the lights are off when this was taken. And it was actually taken this morning when the sun was still more, it was a cloudy day, but the sun's on the east side of the building still. And so you can see the amount of natural light that's being allowed into the Douglas Fir Dome there. Really highlights, the ceiling there, which is beautiful ceiling. And, just excited. We used to have curtains up to kind of block the glare, but with the translucent panels, you can have that natural light now without the glare, and it really makes for a nice space. Just kind of going on some of the other things taking place right now at the junior high school. This is the old office area. It's going to be the new design studio maker space. It's nearing completion. We've got cabinets on order and to be installed. And this really is going to be kind of a showcase for the school. It's in a high visible area right off the main hallway where students will be able to see what other students are working on, and hopefully help get them excited to maybe take a class in here. Right here, this is the same room, kind of looking to the south towards where the old staff room used to be. The room right ahead of us, this is going to be a new green room
where students are going to be able to produce some videos. And, I don't know if we'll ever be at the quality that Ramil is doing, but we're going to certainly strive for that. So hopefully this is going to be a space that students are excited about and can produce some really nice work in. Kind of moving to the east, this is going to be the new basic life skills classroom. It has a door and window off to that courtyard with the maker space on the other side. If you shift all the way to the far right hand, you'll see a window into another classroom area. We're going to have a kitchen area in there where students can work on skills using the ovens and some of the kitchen equipment in there, compared to the space that they used to have, which was kind of in one of the modulars off, not even attached to the main school. This should be really nice for those students. Some other exciting things happening right now. This is out along the junior high bus loop on the south property line. We're involving Blake Manley and his forestry students. What Blake wants to do here in the next week is plant a variety of conifer trees in this area. He's thinking maybe some incense cedar, some valley pine, hemlock, some different species. And then having plaques made so students can identify trees and kind of see some of the differences between different conifers. So kind of extending the classroom out into this area as well for students. This next picture is not taken at the junior high school, but Dustin Nickel and his construction class, they have both some old growth cedar as well as some Douglas fir. And what they're planning to do is make some timber benches for us up at the junior high school. The cedar would go outside, the Douglas fir would be in benches in some of the covered areas. And so it should really just add a nice cool look to the junior high school when it's completed. And it's also nice to kind of recognize Sweet Home's forestry heritage. And then finally, in conclusion, this is my favorite picture of all. These are some of our Sweet Home Junior High School students engaged in the limited in-person instruction. But this is what the whole project was about, was to make a nice, inviting space for students. And it is exciting to see students be able to use it. And I'm just excited for years and decades to come to see students benefiting from the investments that we're currently making. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Tom.
Well, it's a beautiful picture. Last week, I went up, did a tour inspection, and it's amazing the work that's been done. As the finishing touches are getting completed, the siding is all stitched in. It looks like one complete building now with the landscaping coming in. It's framed up just beautifully. And, I cannot, Coach Thorpe is an inspirational speaker, and I'll never be able to match his inspiration and his history, of course, with Sweet Home, but he's right on the money. It's Sweet Home's can-do spirit. It's the Sweet Home strong, work hard. We were able to accomplish this. When you think about the challenges of, it's hard to raise capital funds, and the school board's fiscal discipline in long-term maintenance. Kevin Strong's looking for every nickel and dime at the state level and federal level for funds and grants. You have Josh Darwood's leadership with the facilities team being able to do a couple $1 million worth of work that we did in-house. It's just amazing. And even we came through just very difficult August rain that just was a pond on top of the roof and staff and students under very difficult conditions, and they hung in there. And we were able to use the insurance money to make even not only patch things up, but even make more improvements in house. And then we have COVID came along, and that actually provided us opportunity. It's finding opportunity in challenges, and that's what Sweet Home's about. And so we really, at the outset, we wanted to have a building when you walk in, it didn't feel like the old building. When you look at it, it doesn't look like it. It looks like a brand new building. It is a brand new experience. When you see the ceiling tiles that stitch everything in from old to new, the polished floor, old to new. So it's just fantastic. I highly recommend the board. We go up and we do a tour, maybe April. Some of those pit rooms that Kevin was showing, they'll be near completion. And so it's really looking like just a beautiful, beautiful building. And I just have to pinch myself. And I know I say it at a couple meetings, but we also did not raise for the citizens of Sweet Home the tax rate. We were able to do this through a lot of different means and methods to deliver, and it's just one of the projects. So I just wanted to say that.
Great. Thanks, guys. Any questions for Kevin, Tom? All right. Thank you. We got one action item, and that is to repeal some policies that are no longer valid and no longer needed because their law expired. I don't know if Tom, you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, certainly. If you in the packet, there is a footnote before the policies. It's on 7A, and it's from OSBA attorneys, and it talks about the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, and it so that act is over, so it affects that portion of it is over, so it affects our policy, and we thought a good measure that all the way down to our policy, if you will, that we repeal those policies. They're no longer needed, and they're not relevant to federal law.
Okay, thanks. With that in mind, I entertain a motion. I would entertain a motion to approve the repealing of this policy in the 2 ARs.
So moved. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Dale King, second for Deborah.
Yes.
All right. Any more discussion?
Yes, I'll second.
All right. Any more discussion? All right. So I'll go down the list again. Dale King.
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
Jason.
Aye.
Jenny.
Aye.
Deborah.
Aye.
Jans.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. So the motion carries. Any board comments? All right, so we are going to take a break and, well, not much of one. So when you guys need to do what you need to do, we're going to adjourn this meeting and get back into our executive session in 1926602D. Talk about some bargaining stuff, and we'll see you there. So you guys should have a link in the email from Julie for that other meeting. We'll see you over there.
Thanks, Mike.